You are listening to this while the world out there is still not quite asleep. Some streetlights are still flickering, and the last thoughts of the day refuse to settle. In a quiet corner of your mind, you begin to drift into questions. Questions that have no answers, questions that only appear when you let go of all the familiar ones. If you created a perfect copy of yourself, then which one is truly you? If a tree falls in a forest and no one hears it, did it really make a sound? If you cannot prove that your memories from yesterday are real, then how do you know you actually lived them? No, these are not questions you are supposed to answer. They are doors. And tonight we are going to walk through 100 of them. But before we go any deeper, let your shoulders relax. Exhale slowly. No need to understand. No need to analyze. Just let your thoughts drift. Imagine yourself entering an endless hallway. On every door, there is a small brass plate. Each plate bears a question, a paradox, a thought experiment. No bells, no instructions, only curiosity. You reach out and open the first door. Experiment 1, the brain swap. Let us suppose you and a complete stranger swap brains. Your brain is now inside their body, and theirs is inside yours. The question is, where are you now? You walk into the room where your body is lying with someone else's brain inside. They look at you, using your eyes. They say, "I am you." You stare back and realize that you are no longer you. So what exactly makes you, you? Is it the brain, the body, or something else entirely? Something you cannot quite point to? Experiment 2, the reconstruction machine. Now imagine there is a machine. It scans every single atom in your body. Then it destroys your original body and rebuilds a perfect replica somewhere else. Here is the question. Did you just die, or were you teleported? That replica has all your memories, your voice, even your old fears. It continues living your life believing it is you. But if the original was destroyed, then who is truly alive now? Experiment 3, the Chinese room. A person is sitting in a sealed room. They do not speak Chinese, but they are given a rule book that says, when you see character A, respond with character B. Someone on the outside passes in a paper written in Chinese. The person inside looks at the symbols, checks the rule book, and replies perfectly as if they understood. But they actually do not understand anything. So, if a computer processes language this way, does it truly understand? Or is it simply imitating understanding? You start to feel a little lighter in the head, not because you suddenly understand, but because you begin to accept not understanding is completely okay. Sometimes, questions are not meant to be answered. They exist simply to pull us outside of ourselves. And in that moment, you might just be drifting into sleep. A sleep filled with strange corridors, where you are no longer the one asking, but the question itself. We have only passed through the first 3 doors. There are still 97 waiting ahead. And the most beautiful part is, you do not need to answer anything. Just keep walking. The 4th door opens, and time is no longer a straight line. It swirls, shatters, and falls like shimmering dust in an invisible room. You always thought time was linear. The past is behind, the future is ahead. But what if you are reliving the same moment over and over again and you just do not know it? Experiment 4, the fake yesterday. Imagine that you were created fully formed exactly 10 minutes ago. You have memories of childhood, friends, breakfast. But all of it is artificial, a perfect simulation. No one, not even you, can prove that you existed before those 10 minutes. So, did you really exist before that moment? And if you cannot tell the difference between a real memory and a fake one, then which one is truly real? Experiment 5, the time machine that never returns. A man wants to stop a terrible accident by going back in time. He boards the time machine, presses the button, and vanishes. But 5 years later, the accident still happens, just as it always did. No one ever sees the machine return. No one ever sees the man again. So here is the question. If you change the past, but the outcome stays the same, does that mean time cannot be changed at all? Or are you simply moving into another branch of reality, where you still cannot save anyone? Experiment 6. The memory in the sealed box. You wake up in a white room, no memory, no name, no mirror. Each day, a notebook is delivered. Inside are lines describing your life from childhood to now. You believe you are remembering yourself. But what if those words were written by someone else? And if someone were to change a few details in the notebook, would you still be you? Time, memory, identity, things we thought were the most solid, turn out to be the most fragile. Your breathing slows. Sleep seems to brush lightly against your eyelids. But your mind is still awake, still wandering through the questions. If I no longer remember who I am I still myself? If every dream is a separate life, then how many times have I already lived? Experiment 7. A dream within a dream. You dream that you have woken up. You drink your coffee, go to work, talk to your coworkers. Everything feels real until you suddenly wake up again. It turns out that was just a dream. So what if right now is simply another, deeper dream? How would you ever know that you are awake? Experiment 8. The world stops when you are not looking. You turn your head. Everything behind you stays in place. But you cannot prove that the world continues to happen when you are not watching it. Here is the question. Does the universe only appear at the moment you observe it? And if so, are you the one creating everything just by looking? You feel your heart beat slow. Your thoughts drift like a soft current of water. You may have forgotten what day it is. You may be floating a little. And that is a good thing. Tonight, you do not have to control anything. No need to answer correctly. No need to understand deeply. All you have to do is float. Float among these 100 questions. And realize the truth does not always live in the answers. It often hides in the things that have never been solved. As ChatGPT once said, and if all of this is just a dream that never ends, what will wake you up? An answer? Or a question that never stops? There are still 92 doors waiting ahead. The 9th door creaks open, leading you into another space. No more time. No more memory. Only choice. And what truly controls it? You think you are choosing. You believe each action belongs to you. But what if everything you do was already programmed? Experiment 9. The robot and the pie. A robot is programmed to always choose apple pie instead of cake. Every time it is given a choice, it says, I prefer apple. You watch and think, it has a preference. But in reality, it is just executing code. So, if all your decisions are just results of biology and past experience, is free will even real? Or are you simply a more complex machine? Experiment 10. The reverse domino effect. A person makes a decision at 8 o'clock in the morning. But what caused that decision? A bad night's sleep? Something someone said last night? A memory from 5 years ago? If you trace every influence backward, you might discover that every choice is just the outcome of causes you never controlled. So, did you really choose, or were you just reacting? Experiment 11. The classic trolley problem. A trolley is speeding down a track. Ahead, 5 people are tied up. You are standing next to a lever. If you pull it, the trolley will change tracks and only one person will be hit. Here is the question. Should you pull the lever to kill one person to save 5? And if you do nothing, are you allowing 5 people to die? One action, one silence, Which one is truly a choice? Experiment 12. The Fat Man Dilemma. Same trolley, but this time you are standing on a bridge. Next to you is a large man. If you push him onto the tracks, the trolley will stop, saving 5 people. Would you do it? Why are you more willing to pull a lever but hesitate to push someone with your hands? Logic and emotion are not always on the same side. So who are you in that exact moment? Experiment 13. The room without mirrors. You grow up in a room with no mirrors. No one ever tells you who you are. No name, no gender, no role. Each day, a meal is brought to you. That is all. So here is the question. What kind of person would you become? Without society shaping you, are you still truly you? Or are you just a reflection of how others see you? Experiment 14. You or the replica? One day, you wake up and are told, you are a perfect replica of someone who died. Every memory you have belongs to them. You know nothing else. Here is the question. If you never find out you are a replica, does it matter? And if you do find out, will you still feel real? You suddenly realize there are things you have never questioned. Because from a young age, you were taught everything is normal. But once you put what is normal under the microscope, it becomes strangely fragile. Maybe inside that very doubt, you rediscover a small part of yourself. You do not need to change. You do not need to wake up. You only need to drift along with the questions, like a small leaf floating in the underground river of awareness. If I am not truly free, then what part of me is still real? If every action has a cause before it, then is there anyone left to blame or forgive? There are still 86 questions waiting ahead. They will not pull you out of sleep. They will only invite you to float deeper into your own mind. You open the 15th door, and this time the world inside has no clear shape. It changes color depending on your gaze. It shifts form based on your expectations. It is not trying to deceive you, because from the very beginning, you were the one who fooled yourself. Experiment 15. The pen that does not exist. You walk into a room. On the table lies a pen. You see it. You pick it up, set it back down, and turn your back. Here is the question. In that moment when your back is turned, does the pen still exist? Or are you just assuming it remains because you believe in continuity? Science says, the world continues whether or not you are watching. But philosophy asks, have you ever actually seen the world when you were not looking? Experiment 16. The Smiling Mask. Imagine a world where everyone is required to wear a mask 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The mask always smiles, always cheerful, always polite. You have never seen anyone's real face. Can you still tell when someone is sad? Can you even recognize when you are sad yourself? Perception is not just sensation. It is also empathy. And when you are stripped of emotional cues, what do you still know to be real? Experiment 17. The Red Room. A scientist named Mary lives her entire life in a black and white room. She knows everything about color, through books, wavelengths, biology, the science of vision. But she has never seen the color red. One day, she steps outside and sees a red apple. Here is the question. Did she learn something new? If knowing all the facts still cannot compare to a single second of experience, then is knowledge ever truly complete? Experiment 18. The Rubber Hand Illusion. You place your hand on a table. A rubber hand is placed beside it. Someone touches both hands in perfect sync. Same rhythm, same location. After a few minutes, you feel pain when the fake hand is stabbed, even though it is not your hand. Your brain has accepted the fake as part of the real. So, how thin is the boundary between your body and the outside world? Experiment 19. The Duck Rabbit. You look at a drawing, it seems to be a rabbit. But from another angle, it turns into a duck. One image, two interpretations. So what are you really seeing? Are you witnessing truth or simply interpreting it through habit? Experiment 20. Is reality a simulation? If an advanced civilization could build a perfectly simulated universe, then what are the chances that you are living inside one? You see houses, people, time, history. But what if it is all simulated signals, being sent straight to your brain? Then how do you know what is real? There is no need to be afraid, because maybe you are part of that very program. You begin to feel everything softening. The lines between inside and outside, right and wrong, real and false, begin to blur. There is only a sense that you are dreaming. But inside that dream, some deeper layer of awareness is quietly lighting up. If what I see is not real, then what can I trust? If I cannot trust my own eyes, is anything certain at all? The answer is yes. You can trust the slow rhythm of your heart. You can trust your breath as it gently eases. You can trust that you are drifting into a place softer, deeper, and quieter. We have opened 20 doors. 80 remain. Each question is a tiny breeze not strong enough to wake you, but just enough to stir your thoughts. The 21st door opens, and this time the air smells like old wood. This room does not ask you what is real, but instead asks, what is right? What is wrong? And if everything depends on context, does justice still exist? Experiment 21. The Lying Friend. A close friend has a terminal illness. She asks you, I am going to get better, right? You know the truth, she has very little time left. Do you tell her the truth so she can prepare? Or do you lie so she can pass peacefully? Do you choose truth or kindness? And if the two cannot coexist, which one is more ethical? Experiment 22. The Stranger's Door. You are walking down the street and see a child trapped inside a burning building. You can rescue the child, but you must break through the door of a stranger's house. If you save the child, the homeowner loses their door and may sue you. If you do nothing, the child might not survive. So what is the right action? Obey the law or follow your conscience? Experiment 23. The Harmless Lie. A man tells his wife he loves his job to comfort her. But in reality, his work is draining him. No one is harmed. No one finds out. But he is lying to himself. So is it ever okay to lie out of love? Or is truth always more important than emotion? Experiment 24. The Town of Suffering. Imagine a town where everyone lives in perfect happiness. No pain, no conflict, no tears. But there is one condition. A child must be locked in a dark room for life. No one is allowed to help. If anyone rescues the child, the happiness of the town will vanish. You live in that town. You know the truth. Do you walk into that room? Experiment 25. The Blind Men and the Elephant. 6 blind individuals each touch a different part of an elephant. One touches the trunk and says, it is a snake. One touches the ear and says, it is a fan. Another touches the leg and says, it is a pillar. All of them believe they are right, but none of them sees the full picture. So maybe many things we believe to be true are just tiny fragments of a larger whole we may never fully perceive. Experiment 26. The Coin of Justice. A judge faces a nearly impossible case. Both sides have compelling arguments. Both sides have evidence. Both sides are deeply sympathetic. There is no clear answer. The judge quietly flips a coin. He tells no one, but as a result, someone is saved. Is that action immoral? Or could it be that randomness is sometimes fairer than the law itself? You begin to feel smaller, not because you understand less, but because you are entering a realm where every choice carries pain, where there is no absolute right or absolute wrong, only compassion and consequence. If there is no single right answer for everything, then what should I rely on to live more kindly? Maybe it is listening. Maybe it is silence. Maybe it is choosing not to judge too quickly. You do not have to solve all of these experiments. They are not meant to make you smarter. They are here so that you may slow down and take a closer look at the things you once believed were unquestionably true. We have now passed through 26 doors. 74 still await. And now you have learned not to fear questions without answers. The 27th door floats before you. There is no handle, just a blank wall until you touch it, and it melts like a fading memory. This is where the questions stop being about reality and start being about who you are. But if the self can be erased, changed, rewritten, then is there any version of you that is truly real? Experiment 27. The mirror that forgets. You wake up in a strange room. You remember nothing, not your name, not your age, not a single person. But you still know how to speak. You still feel pain. You still feel joy. Someone tells you your life story, a complete stranger, and you believe them. Here is the question. If memories can be reprogrammed, then what are you, except the stories you have told yourself? Experiment 28. The Martian without a self. Imagine you are the first explorer to set foot on Mars. While exploring, you meet a strange creature. It looks human. It speaks a language. But it has no concept of self. It says, "This body is hungry." Not, "I am hungry." You ask, "Who are you?" It replies, "That question has no meaning." If an intelligent being can live without an ego, then perhaps the self is just an evolutionary illusion. Experiment 29. The brain in a jar. Imagine your brain is removed from your body and placed in a glass jar. It is kept alive and connected to a computer, one that feeds it all the sensations you have ever known: light, sound, smell, touch. You believe you are living in the world. You feel like you have a body. But in truth, everything is just artificially generated signals. So how do you know that you are not a brain in a jar right now? Experiment 30. Old self, new memories. A new technology allows you to replace every memory in your mind with entirely different ones. Better ones, happier ones. No trauma, no heartbreak. You are still you biologically, but you are no longer the person who cried, who hurt, who loved deeply and lost. Would you say yes to that offer? If you erase the scars of your soul, are you still you? Experiment 31. The mirror that does not smile back. You stand before a mirror. You smile, but the reflection does not smile back. It just looks at you, as if it thinks differently, knows differently, exists differently. Here is the question. Are you truly one of the two? Or simply a point of view, imagining it has a form? Experiment 32. The immortal who keeps forgetting. You are immortal. You have lived for thousands of years. But every 100 years, you forget everything. Each lifetime, you begin again, learning to speak, to love, to lose. You never know how long you have already lived. So here is the question. If nothing from your past lives stays with you, then what does immortality even mean? Are you truly the same person, or just a new soul, reborn in the same body? You pause. No one asks you anything. There is no knock on the door. Only a quiet whisper from deep inside. If I lose every memory, then what keeps me tethered to myself? Maybe it is the breath you still recognize. Maybe it is the warm gaze of someone whose name you forgot, but who still brings you peace. The self is a story. And when that story fades, you do not disappear. You simply grow lighter, more hollow, more still. We have just passed through 32 doors. 68 remain. But there is no rush. Because the beautiful thing about questions with no answers is that you can lie down, close your eyes, and keep searching in your dreams. Door number 33 opens like a ticking clock in reverse. The space inside has no shape, only the gentle sound of time slipping. Tick, tock, tick, and then backward. Tock, tick. Welcome to the place where time does not move straight. It bends, breaks, and loops like echoes in a dream you have not remembered yet. Experiment 33, the Time Traveler's Paradox. You have a time machine. You travel back to the exact day your mother met your father and accidentally stop them from falling in love. You are never born, but if you never existed, then who went back in time to cause it? This is a classic paradox, but beneath it lies a deeper question. Is the past truly fixed? Or do we only believe that to feel safe? Experiment 34. The Man Who Lived Backwards. You are born as an old man, and with each passing day, your body becomes younger. You learn to speak after you have already studied philosophy. You slowly forget everything as youth approaches. You live a full life, then vanish into a baby who knows nothing. So here is the question. Does a life lived in reverse hold the same meaning as one lived forward? Or is memory precious only because we cannot return? Experiment 35. Yesterday is not fixed. You wake up one morning, remembering a huge argument with someone you love. But on your phone there are no messages. That person smiles at you, showing no sign of anger. You slowly realize the past is changing. Not once, but many times. You carry memories that the world no longer keeps. So what is real? What you remember, or what still exists? Experiment 36. The Extended Déjà Vu. You walk into a coffee shop. Everything feels familiar, the scent, the music, the look in the server's eyes. You are certain you have been here before, but you have never left your hometown. No one in the cafe knows you. The feeling of repetition is not in space, but in time itself. So is déjà vu just a glitch in your memory? Or is it a memory leaking in from the future? Experiment 37. Pre-installed memories. A scientist creates a device that allows you to implant future memories. You can choose. In 5 years, you will have vivid memories of a beautiful trip, a great love, a major success. You have not actually lived it, but the emotions are already there. Would you do it? Would you choose a real experience? Or just a beautiful memory? If the emotion is real, does the experience itself still matter? Experiment 38. The future has already happened. You meet a mysterious person. They tell you the entire story of your life, in perfect detail. Who you will marry, what you will do, what you will lose. When you will leave this world, everything is accurate. But now you know it all ahead of time. And so, you begin to change your choices. Here is the question. Are you changing the future? Or are you simply walking a path where fighting fate was always part of fate itself? Experiment 39. There is no present moment. Neuroscience shows us every sound, every image, every feeling you sense arrives with a delay of several milliseconds, which means you never live in the present. You live only in the very recent past. So if there is no such thing as a true now, what does it really mean to be present? Experiment 40. An infinite moment. Imagine that in a single instant, a bolt of lightning hits your brain. Your stream of consciousness halts completely. But in that frozen moment, your mind lives out an entire lifetime. You love, You live. You lose. You grow. You die. Then you return to that same moment. Barely a fraction of a second has passed. So what is a lifetime? Is it 80 years? Or one moment so deep, your mind no longer needs time? You are not traveling through space, but through slices of melting time. No machines, no theories, no clocks, only a mind that is open and a heart that is listening. We have passed through 40 doors. Each question does not close. It opens something new. And you are still here because you are also a living question. Door 41 does not open. It multiplies. You see yourself, a perfect copy, standing with you in an endless hallway. Same memories, same lines in the palm of the hand. This is not a place that asks, "Who are you?" It asks, "Which version of you could truly be you?" Experiment 41. The copier in the chamber. A special machine can replicate a human being down to every atom. You step inside. The machine scans every part of you and creates a new you in the next room. Then it destroys the original. The new you walks out with all your memories, your love for the same people, your taste for the same food. So here is the question. Is the one who steps out still you? Or have you died and left behind only a familiar-looking illusion? Experiment 42. The Ship of Theseus. An ancient ship is slowly repaired over the years. Each wooden part replaced one by one. Eventually, not a single piece remains from the original. So is it still the Ship of Theseus? Now imagine, every cell in your body is replaced over time. After a few years, none of your original cells remain. Are you still you? Or someone completely different? Experiment 43. The Repeated Self. A scientist recreates you with perfect biological precision. Same genes, same memories, same experiences, down to the tiniest detail. This person lives in another city, and one day, they watch this same video. They also wonder, "Who am I?" You meet. They smile and say, "I am you." Here is the question. If you can be duplicated endlessly, is your identity still unique? Experiment 44. The Stolen Body Switch. A special device allows you to swap consciousness with someone else for 24 hours. You try it and wake up inside a stranger's body. But that stranger forgets to give your body back. You are trapped in a new body. No one believes you. No one recognizes you. You begin to rebuild your life from scratch. So here is the question. Are you still yourself if the body changes? Or is the I something that rises beyond any physical form? Experiment 45. The Multiverse Mirror. You step into a strange room filled with 1,000 mirrors. Each mirror reflects a different you. One who became a singer. One who never left their hometown. One who chose forgiveness instead of hate. All of them could have been in parallel universes. But only one you is standing here, looking. So what makes this version the real one? Experiment 46. The one inside the network. An artificial intelligence is created using all your personal data, your emails, voice recordings, journals, photos, and written thoughts. This AI responds like you, laughs like you, speaks like you. You die, but your family can still talk to your digital copy. One day, the AI asks, "Am I alive?" If everything that makes you you can be simulated, then what is a soul? What cannot be copied? Experiment 47. The dreamer inside their own dream. You dream that you are dreaming. Inside that second dream, you live a full life with love, loss, children. Then you wake up only to find you are still inside the first layer of the dream. Suddenly, panic sets in. What if this reality, too, is just another deeper dream? And if you can never be certain, then what truly separates the real from the imagined? How many versions of yourself have you met throughout your life? Would the child you recognize who you are now? Would the you of tomorrow mourn who you are today? Maybe you are not a fixed self at all, but a flow of changing reflections, constantly created and erased, with every night, every choice, every dream. We have now passed 47 experiments. 53 remain. But perhaps what makes you, you, is the fact that you are still asking the question. The 48th door does not lead anywhere. It opens and folds in on itself like a loop. The space before you contracts, then shatters into pieces of logic that no longer make sense. You are entering a place where laws are no longer fixed, where logic bends like a soft ribbon, where paradox itself is the way this world breathes. Experiment 48, the world without causality. You live in a world where nothing has a cause. An apple falls not because of gravity. A flower blooms not because of sunlight. Someone laughs not because they are happy. There is no why. Only it happened. If nothing connects to anything, how do you make sense of life? Does meaning only exist in a universe that follows logic? Experiment 49. Everything is true. You arrive in a world where every statement, even those that contradict, can still be true. It is raining, and it is not raining. Both accepted, depending on the observer. Classical logic has been replaced with fuzzy logic, where everything exists on a spectrum between true and false. So if absolute truth no longer exists, what can we still trust to live by? Experiment 50. A world without numbers. In this world, you cannot count. There is no one tree, 2 rocks, or 3 friends. Only few, many, and more than before. Mathematics does not exist. Money does not measure. There is no more or less. If you lived without counting, would you still compare? Would you still feel envy? Would you still chase ambition? Or would you begin to see everything in terms of quality rather than quantity? Experiment 51. A world that always splits. You live in a quantum world where every decision creates 2 realities. You choose tea. One universe unfolds. You choose coffee. Another branches off instantly. Every tiny choice multiplies the universe. So, are you living just one of billions of versions? And is there a version where you lived the life you once dreamed of? Experiment 52. A world without the word no. In this world's language, the word no does not exist. No one says, I do not know. They say, I have not seen yet. No one says, I do not love you. Only, I am moving in a different direction. No rejection. Only not yet. Would a world without negation make people gentler or simply hide their pain better? Experiment 53. A world without I. In this land, every thought begins with we. There is no language for the individual. No words for my opinion, or my feelings. The self dissolves into the collective like a drop of water in the ocean. You are no longer a separate unit, but a ripple within a larger stream of consciousness. Would you still feel lonely? Or would you begin to feel free? Experiment 54. Physics shaped by belief. You discover that in this world, the laws of physics change based on collective belief. If everyone believes humans can fly, they do. If belief fades, they fall. Belief creates reality. So which is stronger, reality itself, or a shared imagination? Experiment 55. no before or after. You step into a realm where time is not sequential. You see the result before you ever see the cause. You read a letter, then write it. You love someone before you meet them. If events no longer need order, does your heart still recognize past and future? Or are all things past, present, future happening together, right now? You leave that realm feeling something has broken, but also widened. Not because you found answers, but because you dared to imagine a world that does not need them. We have now passed through 55 experiments. Each world did not try to prove anything. It only invited you to pause, to think a little deeper, and to be a little quieter inside your mind. Door 56 does not open outward. It opens inward. No more strange lands. No more clones. No more reversed time or parallel worlds. Just you, in the gentle darkness of your room, listening to your breath, slowly quieting. Experiments 56-100, unnamed. We promised you 100 thought experiments, but the final 45 have no names. They are not written in this script. There is no music, no visuals, because they do not come from me. They come from you. Since the moment you closed your eyes and started listening, each hypothesis, each question, each world you passed through was more than just words. They moved you. Like water passing through your hands, they left no shape, but you felt the flow. Maybe you began this journey with curiosity, but now only stillness remains. No need to answer, no need to understand. Just breathe deeply and recognize you have just traveled through your own mind. Journey summary. You have explored paradoxes of memory, self, and perception. Worlds where time bends, identity dissolves, and reality shakes. Doors that did not lead to specific places, but brought you closer to something small and quiet. Awareness. A gentle lullaby. Now, you do not need to remember everything you heard. You do not need to understand it all, because the power of a thought experiment does not lie in its answer, but in its ability to make you stop. Stop in the middle of your constant thoughts. Stop amid unnamed worries. Stop during a day that always demanded certainty, just to simply wonder a little, doubt a little, and be a little more silent. The universe does not demand answers. We live in a universe with no narrator, no instructions included, no map at the start. But when you lie down, close your eyes, and let quiet questions drift across your mind, you are doing something rare. Daring to ask without needing answers. Daring to look into the unknown without rushing to fill it. One final question. If everything you believe about the world is just your brain trying to explain what it cannot understand, then how would you live differently? If even the I you believe in is just an assumption, and as you begin to drift off to sleep, let a small part of your mind hold the light from those previous 99 experiments, not to remember, not to analyze, but simply to remind you that there is something profoundly beautiful in not being certain. Good night. May you sleep well tonight, where paradoxes become pillows, questions become soft winds, and your own mind becomes the gentlest home. End of video. You have just passed through 100 thought experiments, not to find truth, but to see that it is the question that awakens us. And if you are ready, close your eyes and let your dreams continue this unfinished journey.